Immediately thrown in the lake of fire. There's no grace, there's no mercy. It's just, you've got the mark, bam, you're in a lake of fire.
If you pledge allegiance to the Antichrist, you will be eternally damned according to the Bible.
In medical news tonight, a chip the size of a grain of rice could save your life.
I've just been chipped myself. It's not a painless process, but it doesn't last too long, not too difficult, minor surgical procedure.
New microchip technology now makes it possible for the emergency room staff to find out about your medical history at the touch of a computer key.
At some point, we're all going to have RFIDs. It might be even in our fingers, where they require it with everything on it.
Instead of carrying credit cards or money, we will probably be implanted with chips.
And now RFID microchips like this are being injected into humans.
I'm sorry, sir, did you just say you would get one implanted in your arm?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Our driver's license will be on the RFID chip. Our credit card number, all our information will be on this one chip.
The chip is encased in unbreakable glass and is about the size of a grain of rice. The procedure is done with anesthesia and is relatively pain-free.
It felt pretty scary, but at the same time it felt very modern, very 2015.
The government has just approved the use of a computer chip that would be implanted under your skin.
When complete, everyone will have a unique 12-digit identity number.
If hospitals purchase this detection equipment, the system will most likely start to include more and more people in those communities who will want the chips.
Wow. Interesting stuff. Everybody could have one of those one day.
Does Google now know everything I do and everywhere I go? Because, let's face it, we like you guys, but you're from Google.
It may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents.
Forget mobile phones. Your children and grandchildren may well want an implant instead.
You know, when we check out at the grocery store, we'll be swiping our own arm over the scanner. And that will be something we feel we can't live without.
It would be such a disadvantage to not have the implant that it essentially becomes not optional.
Anyone who takes the mark is immediately thrown into the lake of fire. There's no grace, there's no mercy. It's just, you've got the mark, bam, you're in a lake of fire. Not my words. Those are the words of Yeshua, and those are in the book of Revelation.
There's going to be one decision you'll have if you're left here. If you're faced with the decision to take a mark that's talked in Revelation 13, I think, Revelation 13, 17, the mark of the beast, in your right arm, right hand, or your forehead. If you make the decision to take it, it will be the last decision you will ever be in control of. If you take the mark and you say, I'll take the mark of the beast, you will never have control over another decision. You'll never be able to cut it out. You won't be able to chisel it out, cut your arm off, say, I figured a way I'd get around it. No.
And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
Well, there's a new technology to help people lose weight. It's a device that makes your stomach think it's full, and it might not even have any weird side effects. But there is a catch. Part of it might be embedded inside your body.
Swiss scientists say they may have found a way to help people lose weight by implanting a computer chip into their arms. Researchers are developing the device, which can scan the blood for fat and other things. When an obese person eats too much, it will release hormones that suppress hunger.
This is a developmental system made by MC10, and it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. A tattoo that could be used for authentication. It's really true. So what this means is that that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
Now, we've heard before of chips being implanted in the body, but here at Reading University, they're looking at something else. What happens when one of those chips gets a computer virus? Well, here's Dr. Mark Gasson.
But this technology has really developed over the last 5 or 10 years. And really, now we should consider these devices to be more like little computers. They can store information, manipulate information, do simple computations. So when we're implanting this type of device, really we're implanting it like a miniature computer. If we look at these types of applications of implantable technology, there are benefits, but there are also risks associated with that.
So we're looking at a future where you could have some advanced medical device inside you, and that could be infected by some other chip inside you.
Yeah, that's right. That's quite possible. And equally, someone who's carrying an infected medical device could feasibly infect someone else.
So we've got a future where we could all become one sort of great big walking computer infected with a virus.
That's quite possible.
It says, and we all get this one, that anyone who takes this mark will not be able to buy, sell, or trade. That's an easy one, right? But then we find out that anyone who takes this mark, whatever this thing is, grievous sores will appear over the body. But here's the deal. It says that in those days, the days of the mark, men and women will seek death and not find it.
Dave, we have stuff that even the Mossad doesn't know we have. And he specifically mentioned them. He goes, they know pretty much everything we do. They don't know. We have stuff that can literally change a person's DNA. We have stuff that can turn them into zombie-acting characters. And he said, watch this drill that we do in 2 weeks. And it was the October 31st, 2012 drill in San Diego. And I actually have this on one of my stories, where people were dressed up with makeup artists to act like zombies, and they were being shot down in a simulation. And it was a FEMA DHS civil control drill in San Diego. And they reported it on the San Diego TV stations, and they made a joke out of it because it was Halloween and zombies and all this stuff. But
I remember that.
He said, we have the ability to make people behave this way. And he said, and we use the chemtrails, nanotechnology. He said, it's all here.
So even from a Christian perspective, obviously, we wouldn't want to get the mark because, well, according to the Bible, your eternity depends on whether you take the mark or not.
But with the technologies that we're seeing, the RFID, people willingly getting implanted, and a push even in some places for maybe some forced implants very soon, I do think that that is right around the corner, brother. We could very well be on the horizon of that. And you know, Darren, when we compare this to Scripture and we look and see, you know, particularly Revelation 13, talking about that the whole world will have this system, and that you will have to have it to be able to buy and sell. This system, this RFID system, is the first technology that we have seen that provides that ability. Now, again, I'm not saying dogmatically this is that, but it certainly has the ability to become that very quickly. But think about this also, Darren, when we go back to Scripture and it talks about it by their right hand or on their foreheads. You know, obviously John, who saw this vision, lived over 2,000 years ago, and he was using the best language he had to describe what he was being shown.
Sure.
So, listen, the forehead, the biometric ID, that could be as simple as a retina scan. I mean, just common sense would tell us that when this time comes, when we see something mandated where they are trying to mark every person in the whole world, whether that be for tracking or for buying or selling or whatever it is, it's not just going to be Christians, people like myself who are familiar with the word, that say, wait a minute, we know what this is. There's going to be people out there who just common sense who may give no regard to the Bible at all that say, this is crazy. There's no way I'm going to participate in this. So yeah, absolutely. I think that we'll see both. And you know, the scripture is very clear that Christians are going to be submitted to this at some point. We are going to have to make this decision.
A tattoo that could be used for authentication.